As we dive deeper and deeper into this series, nothing seems to get easier for the children of Gracefield. The circumstances of the escape, much like our characters' feelings, are proving troublesome and continue creating and being obstacles for our characters to get over. And this episode was no different. With the shipment of Norman being set to be in one day, our characters' emotions and thoughts are taken over at the prospect of losing yet another one of their beloved siblings. However, they can't let these emotions sink in and take over, as that would just deter them from thinking about what's important. How do we escape with everybody, including Norman? The influx of emotions lead to some rather reckless planning, but it all seems so reasonable when confronted with the alternative. Nevertheless, any plan, the best minds in Gracefield could not have prepped for a simple yet effective obstacle. A cliff. A giant cliff separates the children of Gracefield from freedom, and if it weren't for Isabella putting a stop to the scouting mission at the end of last episode, the cliff would have been a known factor that would be taken into consideration whenever plotting the escape. But that interference from Isabella affected our character's escape in ways we couldn't have anticipated, and that interference from Isabella makes the possibility of Norman's sacrifice a heartbreaking but necessary evil. And while all of our characters are affected and dealing with their emotions differently, whether it be regarding Norman, the cliff, or both, there are two characters specifically I wanted to talk about, and those are Ray and of course the man of the hour, Norman. It would be pretty easy to just focus on Norman this episode, which is why I loved all the attention they gave Ray. Especially because at this point in time, it would not be uncommon for people to still be looking at Ray in a negative light. I say this because Ray's good intentions and careful planning haven't been as clearly shown to us as the negative ways he's gone about executing his ideas. Ray is by far the most realistic person of the group, and I find that a lot of the time people mistake realism or rationality with bad intentions. Yeah, Ray doesn't want to escape with everybody, because in what world would a group of children survive when they know so little about the world around them? Certainly not this one. Yeah, Ray was a spy for Isabella, and yeah, he stood idly by while the rest of the children of the orphanage were shipped out, at times even making some children get shipped out early. But he did so to ensure his survival and the survival of his two best friends. Ray has known the truth about this world his entire life and has been carefully planning a successful escape plan for not 2 or 4, but 6 years now. And his desperation after knowing that all that time and thought spent has been useless, as now he can't do anything to save his friend, was brilliantly captured throughout the episode. Though, as I mentioned earlier, Ray isn't the only one with a lot on their mind at the moment. We've seen many sides of Norman, and he's usually the type to want to do things right while also being kind and tender. However, there's only a handful of times it feels like where we get to see Norman retain this way of thinking, but while acknowledging that not all decisions are easy and that at times we must get our hands dirty. I feel like this is an aspect or side of Norman the anime hasn't paid a lot of attention to. Like I said, the anime has depicted Norman as he is. He's this soft, wholesome, smart boy, but he, just like everybody else, has his fair share of cracks. Norman's not whole. He's very much a broken child, but he puts on a smile and endures it all for the sake of his friends' feelings, and to hopefully not make them do something stupid. And the lack of exploration into Norman's character is definitely one of the shortcomings of the anime, though I do believe they handle every other facet of him really well. This episode, for example, I enjoy the way they adapted the scene where Norman is going to get Emma a cup of water. While I do enjoy the manga's original portrayal of this scene a lot more, as the artwork and dialogue is just fascinating, the anime did a good job at portraying those same emotions with body language, so no words were necessary. During this scene, you see a boy, an intelligent one, but a boy nevertheless, trying to come to terms with the fact that his life will soon come to an end. But he cannot. He cannot come to terms with the inevitable death of himself and whatever consequences may come to his friends afterwards. Therefore, the boy must refuse to acknowledge the danger his life is in. The boy must strip himself of all fear. The boy must be determined to live. And he is. But will that be enough? If you're an anime only, let me know how you feel about the possibility of Norman actually getting shipped out, and how big of a role will the cliff play in this escape now? Do you think the children of Gracefield can obtain their freedom this season, or at all? And if you're a manga reader, let me know how you felt Cloverworks adapted this episode. Do you agree with what I had to say about this episode and how this story has been adapted so far? Please like the video if you enjoyed it, it helps the channel out a lot. Also, feel free to subscribe to my channel and to hit that notification bell. That way, you don't miss a video and can keep on watching The Promised Neverland and many other series with me. And with that being said, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all soon. Bye bye.